So we're in an SFML project. The first thing I want to do is I already deleted my circle shape, but I want to make one that follows my mouse around. So that could be kind of like my target or my scope or whatever, because we're going to make like kind of like a gallery duck hunt shooting game thing. Okay? I'm just going to make one called aim, and I'm going to get it to follow my mouse. The first thing I want to do is give this thing a radius. Aim.setRadius. Is there a set radius? Why is that auto type? I need my auto type. Oh boy. Circle shape. Did I spell circle shape wrong? There we go. That's why. Perfect. Aim.setRadius. There it is. Click on that. I'll try 10 pixels, something small. Other thing I always like to do with circle shapes is set their origins. 10 and 10. Okay, so that should draw. Well, actually, I haven't put draw down yet, so I will want to draw that after my clear command. Window.draw aim. Should it?
What's the origin?
The origin sets it so that.
No, like what's the origin?
Oh, I just always do the radius, comma the radius. 10 and 10. If I run this, I should see a little dot up in the top of my corner of my screen. You can see it up in there. Barely see it. Okay. Now I just want to set that thing's position to my mouse pointer. So I would obviously not put that code outside of this while loop. Correct, Dale? Because it needs to update 60 times a second. Whenever my mouse pointer updates, I need to update the position of aim. So somewhere in here, I usually just always do all my code after this event loop stuff. Okay. I'm going to go aim.setPosition, and I just want to set position. Perfect. I have to give it an X and a Y, so I'll just give it the mouse's X position and the mouse's Y position. The way you do that is you do it the same way you would with a keyboard. You go mouse : get position .x, and for the Y you just go mouse : get position .y. And now the thing should follow. You'll see there's a little bit of an issue that we'll have to fix in a second, but that should always try to set the position to the mouse. Yeah. And you can see it's off a little bit though. Okay. The reason for that is mouse : get position gets the position of the mouse based on the monitor's position and not on the actual window you're playing the game. So if you were in full screen, it would work nice. And the trick to that is you have to write the word window inside of the brackets of the mouse get position. That's the name of your window here that you've made. And then it knows to get the position based on the window's position and not the actual monitor's position. So there's a little trick for your mouse get position. And that should move this circle around the mouse here.
What did you do?
Mr. B, can you just post this code in the Google Classroom?
Well, follow along. See if you can figure it out.
I'm missing half.
What did you write to make it follow exactly?
Okay, I will post it too, but I'll have my video too. I'm recording it.
Can you zoom in for a
Okay.
second? Get position window? Is that
Yeah, it goes in the brackets. Okay.
That's the only difference?
Yeah, that's the only difference. Okay. Other thing I did not like about this was the cursor. I can erase that. That is a command. You know how like I have window.setFrameRateLimit? There's one called window.setCursor, I think. Set cursor. No, set visible. Set, let's see. Set mouse cursor visible. There's also one called mouse cursor grabbed. Yep. So I'll take that one and I'll put the word false in there, and now my mouse cursor will be turned off. Great. Okay, we're working on our video for Project 4, boys. Go grab a seat quietly. There you go. I already have the beginnings of kind of a neat little project here. Okay? Now, I am going to add a whole bunch of rectangles that zoom across the screen, and I'll have to shoot them off the screen. What is the best way to do that? Make a vector of rectangle shapes, and then add them as I go along. So I'll make a vector of them. I'll call them targets. And right now that list has no targets inside of it, no rectangles. But let's get a clock as well here, and then maybe every 1 second we can add. I'm just gonna call it C for my clock. Okay. Every 1 second, I'm going to add a target to this list of targets. Right now, there's none in it. So how do I do that? I go somewhere here in my code, and I say if C dot get elapsed time. We learned this in our lab. Dot. I want the one that's a float. Okay. So if my clock timer is ever bigger than 1 second, I'm just going to put them every 1 second. Then what do I need to do? The first thing I'll want to do is restart my clock so it goes back down to 0. And the second thing I want to do is add a rectangle to my list. So I go targets. If you remember from our vectors lab, it's the command pushback. And it wants to know what I want to push back. I'm going to say rectangle shape. And that will have empty brackets in it. And hopefully now every 1 second I'll have a new rectangle shape in my list that I can draw. Let me just output the size of my targets so that I can make sure to myself that I actually am adding them. So I'm going to output the targets.size, and hopefully when I run this, every second it'll show that the size gets a little bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, now my list has 6 in it. Now it has 7 rectangles. Now it has 8. Now it has 9. Now I haven't told it to draw the rectangles yet. None of the rectangles have any size to them. None of them have any color to them. None of them have any position to them, but they are there. They're in the list with just the default size of 0. Maybe I'll go ahead and give them all a size. Targets.back is the command to do that. Grab the one I just added to my list and go set size. Okay. For some reason, set size always needs a vector 2f. I will eventually change that in the code of SFML. But I'll give them each a size of 50 and 50. So now every rectangle that gets added will have a size of 50. How about every rectangle that gets added gets a position somewhere off the screen, maybe in the X, and somewhere in the middle of the screen on the Y. So now every target will start off to the left, and then I can move them later. I think that's all I really need is a size and a position. And then when I go to draw them, I can move them. Okay? So how do I draw these things? I need to do it with a for loop. That for loop needs to go through all of my targets, however many there are. If there are none, it should go through none. If there are 100, it should go through 100. So that's where the for loop comes in. I make the for loop run through the size of the targets, and then I go window.draw targets I. Okay? So, that should be good. Shh, Chris, don't wreck my lesson. You should be coding right now. You're not even logged in. Shameful. While I'm drawing them all, I might as well move them all as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go 10, 0. So now every 1 second I'm going to draw one, and every frame I'm going to, or every 1 second I'm going to add one to my list, right here. Each one I add, I want to give a size and a position. And then I want to not only do that, but when I go to draw all of them, I also want to move all of them. Hopefully this should, targets I dot move, sorry. So hopefully now they'll scoot across the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. What do you guys think? Hand this in? I think I'm done. Oh wait, it doesn't know. I'll show you a really quick way to erase them if you want, to see if you're clicked on them. And then that'll give you a decent start, and then we can kind of just add cool stuff as we go. Your game doesn't have to look like this either, obviously, but let me show you a kind of a simple way to erase them. Okay. What I want to do is I just want to go somewhere out here, not when I'm drawing them, not inside this loop where I'm drawing them. I want to make another loop that goes through all of them, all of my targets. So again, I'll just choose I equals 0. I is less than the size of my targets. Dot size. So this will go through and check every target I have. Okay. And what I want to do is just check if the circle and the target are overlapping each other. So I'll go like this. If targets I, so if I'm on the 19th target, it's going to check that one. Dot. Let me just leave myself a little message here that says I'm looking at collision. So I know in my code later, if my code gets really long, I'll know where the collision's taking place. It's a good skill to use. If targets I dot, there's a command in here called get global bounds. It tells you a little bit what it does, but it basically finds the minimum bounds that surround that shape. Okay? The nice thing about get global bounds is it also has a couple of functions associated with it. One of them is called contains, and it can see if it contains a point. The other is intersects, and it will see if it intersects the global bounds of another.
Can you repeat that, Mr. B?
Intersects the global bounds of another.
Sorry, Mr. B, I didn't hear that.
Sorry, I feel like this is like a phys ed course here. Get global bounds. Wait. So I'm going to say if it intersects the global bounds of my aim. Aim.get global bounds. There we go. If that's true, then I should erase them. Okay? If it's true. Let me zoom out a little bit. Then I should erase the target I'm on. So I'll go targets dot erase targets dot begin plus I. That will erase them. So now every time my mouse hovers over one of them, they should get erased. Pop, pop, pop. See that? It is erasing them. It obviously should only work if my mouse is being pressed down. Should make a game where you don't erase it, but you have to go around it. That'd be cool. What? Anyways, that is erasing them, so that's good. That's working nicely. Maybe what I'll add in here is an AND statement, though, to make sure my mouse is being pressed down as well. So I'll go AND mouse : is button pressed. It's exactly like the way the keyboard works. Mouse : left. So now it should only erase them if I'm on top of the thing and the mouse button is being pressed. Okay, so it is working. The one glitch is if I hold the mouse button down, it erases it. But we can work around that. I'll show you how to do it on a mouse release later. I don't want to add too much to this video right now, but that is a very basic start to a cool SFML project with vectors and mouse and deleting, and it has everything we need so far. So you don't have to do your game like that, but this is a cool way to start. We now have a video so you can get started even if you're completely lost. You'll have a good start to add graphics and get going on that.